It's a beautiful Monday afternoon, the first day of the year 2024. Welcome to News Hour on Souq News. First, the highlights of the bulletin. Senate approves $7.4 billion borrowing plan to fuel economic growth. Nigeria introduces regulations for domestic crude supply. Israel appoints Israel Katz as Foreign Affairs Minister. South Korea to launch vacation visa in 2024. Glad to have you join us on our first afternoon news hour on Souq News for the year 2024. My name is Grace Komalafe. Before we go into the story for today, breaking news. President Tinubu has signed the 28.78 trillion naira 2024 budget into law. And now we take the story in full. The Senate has approved federal government's request for the 2022-2024 external borrowing plan totaling $7.4 billion and 100 million euros. This approval follows the acceptance of the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debt report during plenary. The proposed borrowing aims to fund ongoing projects in education, agriculture, and women affairs, fostering economic growth, job creation, and poverty alleviation. Additionally, the Senate swiftly approved this securitization of 7.3 trillion naira in ways and means revenue and confirmed executive commissioners for the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission. In a new development, Nigeria's Finance Minister Wale Edun says the federal government has secured a foreign exchange support facility of 2.017 trillion naira from the African Import-Export Bank. This marks the initial segment of a $3.3 billion facility, with the remaining $1.05 billion expected in the first week of January. He noted that the loans aim to address the acute foreign exchange shortage affecting the economy, signaling proactive efforts to tackle Nigeria's economic challenges. Notably, in August, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited had previously announced a $3 billion emergency loan from the Afrexim Bank to stabilize the country's volatile foreign exchange market. And British America Tobacco, BAT, has reaffirmed its commitment to adhere to Nigeria laws despite a $110 million fine imposed by the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. The company's External Affairs Director for West and Central Africa, Ms. Odiri Erewa Megasan, who revealed this in Lagos, also acknowledged the monitoring and the mentorship and awareness campaign outlined in the consent order, which is in line with the company's policy. The Commission had entered into a consent order in December 2022, concluding the investigation and associated proceedings. Furthermore, BAT Nigeria had made payments to settle the penalty, emphasizing its commitment to operating in compliance with Nigeria's law. And in another story, in a nationwide address on 1st January 2024, President Bola Tinubu, in his speech, outlined the objectives of his administration for 2024, as well as his wide plans for Nigerians in the new year. He spoke about his journey to becoming president and praised Nigeria's 24 years of uninterrupted democracy. Assessing his achievements in the last 7 months, the president highlighted his efforts to prevent disaster from befalling the nation. He said that although the time has been tough, the spirit of Nigerians should remain high and unbowed.
Dear compatriots, take this from me. The time may be rough and tough. However, our spirit must remain unbowed, because tough times never last. We are made for this period, never to flinch, falter. The socio-economic challenges of today should energize and rekindle our love and faith in the promise of Nigeria. Our current circumstances should make us resolve to work better for the good of our beloved nation. Our situation should make us resolve that this new year, 2024, each and every one of us will commit to be better citizens. Silently.
President Tinubu disclosed the allocation of 150,000 hectares for maize, rice, wheat, millet and other crop cultivation, alongside 120,000 hectares in Jigawa dedicated to wheat production to ensure a stable food supply.
To ensure constant food supply, security and affordability, we will step up our plan to cultivate 500,000 hectares of farmland across the country to grow maize, rice, wheat, millet, and other staple crops. Launched the dry season farming with 120,000 of land in Jigawa State last November under our National Wheat Development Program. And this
Also, while speaking, he affirmed the government's commitment to local fuel production with the impending completion of the Dangote refinery. Moving on, the Nigeria Police Force says the planned demolition and reconstruction of the Police Officers' Wives Association shopping complex in Ikeja, Lagos, is in the best interest of all parties involved. Recall that traders had staged protests against the intended demolition, disrupting commercial activities on Friday. Force spokesperson ACP Olumoyiwa Adejobi clarified that the complex owned by POWA and allocated to the police officers' wives and relatives is set for demolition due to structural concerns posing environmental hazard such as flooding and potential collapse, hence the decision to rebuild a modern shopping complex on the same land. He also noted that legal procedures were followed, occupants were duly notified, and measures were in place to temporarily accommodate them during reconstruction. Away from that, the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Council has introduced regulations in the domestic crude supply obligation guidelines, directing indigenous oil producers to supply approximately 483,000 barrels per day of crude oil to local refineries for the first half of 2024. This move is in line with Nigeria's strategy to ensure a steady supply for domestic refining. Dangote Oil Refinery, among other government-run refineries, is expected to commence operations in 2024 with the 650,000 barrels per day. The initiative aims to end the importation of petroleum products, support local refinery, and stabilize fuel pricing following the removal of the fuel subsidy in June. And again, the Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission says 34 companies secured approvals for tax holidays, incentives, and waivers under the Industrial Development Income Tax Act in 2023. Head of Incentives Administration, Lovina Kayode, shared this information during the Commission's year-end press briefing in Abuja. The continuous issue of tax incentives, often criticized for revenue losses, was defended as a mechanism to attract foreign investment. Earlier reports estimated annual tax incentives at 5 trillion naira, but the federal government, through the Presidential Tax Reform Committee, disclosed a higher figure of 6 trillion naira. Notable companies included Dangote, Sinotrucks, West Africa Limited, Lafarge Africa PLC, Honeywell, Flour Mills, Nigeria PLC, Jigawa Rice Limited, and Stallion Motors Limited benefited from pioneer status incentives. And we go on a short break. At the moment, we return to more stories. Don't go anywhere.
Olamoke.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you are on to Souq News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it, because this is Souq News.
Shout out to Souq News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souq News. Here's the Souq News, who had the courage to transcend a locked-off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, Souq News. Thank you very much.
It's glad to know you are still here with us. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates. Now we move to the Middle East. The Israeli government has approved the appointment of Yisrael Katz as the new Foreign Affairs Minister, replacing Eli Cohen, who will assume the role of Energy Minister in a pre-arranged ministerial rotation. The appointments are pending Israeli parliamentary approval, despite the ongoing conflict with Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Cohen will remain a member of the Security Cabinet. Additionally, the government has granted permission for municipal elections originally postponed to proceed in February, contingent on contingent on parliamentary approval as stated by the Prime Minister's office. And again, most Middle Eastern stock markets concluded higher yesterday, with Egypt's index recording its most substantial annual gain since 2016. The blue chip index in Egypt increased by 0.8%, accumulating a total annual gain of 70.5%, driven by investors seeking refuge from high inflation and a weakened domestic currency. Commercial, International Bank and Eastern Company, major players in Egypt, marked impressive annual gains of 75% and 95% respectively. The surge is attributed to rising inflation in Egypt, reaching a record of 38% in September, coupled with a sharply depreciating currency. Saudi Arabia's benchmark index rose by 0.3%, noting a 14.2% increase for the year, driven by expectations of interest rate cuts in 2024. Chair of the White House Council of Economic Advisers, Jad Bernstein, has expressed optimism for 2024, citing increased customer spending during the holiday season, real wage gains, and a surge in customer confidence. The Confidence Board reported a 5-month high in U.S. consumer confidence in December, aligning with a significant boost in the University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index, despite concerns about geopolitical risk, including Russia's war in Ukraine and ongoing conflicts in the Middle East. Bernstein highlighted positive economic trends, such as a substantial decrease in inflation and a projected drop in the U.S. national average retail gasoline price for the second consecutive year. Moving on, a federal court of appeal has paved the way for California's law restricting the carrying of guns in most public places to take effect at the beginning of 2024, temporarily setting aside a judge ruling deeming the law unconstitutional. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeal suspended an injunction issued on December 20th, asserting that the law assigned by Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom in September infringed on citizens' Second Amendment rights. The law, prompted by the 2022 Supreme Court ruling expanding gun rights, prohibits concealed carrying in designated sensitive places such as hospitals, stadiums, and places of worship. Irrespective of concealed carry permit, Governor Newsom welcomed the decision, emphasizing the importance of maintaining sensible gun laws. According to a report released on January 1, the Public Investment Fund, PIF, of Saudi Arabia emerged as the primary driver behind global sovereign wealth fund spending in 2023. PIF's substantial expenditure of $31.5 billion accounted to approximately 25% of the nearly $124 billion spent by sovereign wealth funds worldwide. This surge contributed to a record-breaking $11.2 trillion in assets managed by sovereign wealth funds globally, with the strong rally in global stocks playing a significant role. However, despite the positive market conditions, the report indicates that overall sovereign wealth fund spending in 2023 was 21% below the levels observed in the previous year, leading to speculation about a cautious approach among these situations. Moving on, a recent private survey conducted by China Index Academy has unveiled that new home prices in China continued their upward trend for the fourth consecutive month in December 2023. The average rise of 0.1% from the previous month is attributed to the series of government support measures implemented to revive the country's struggling housing market. Despite these efforts, analysts remain skeptical about the long-term impact of these measures, pointing to persistently weak sentiment among home buyers. The property sector has faced numerous challenges in recent years, promoting authorities to introduce various initiatives to stabilize and stimulate growth. And finally, on news are the Minister of Justice in South Korea has revealed plans to launch a trial phase for a The Minister of Justice in South Korea has revealed plans to launch a trial phase for a workation visa in 2024 to enable foreign nationals to travel for work, commencing on January 1, 2024. The proposed visa allows individuals engaging in a workation in Korea to stay for up to 1 year, with the possibility of extending for another year. Workation, a fusion of work and vacation, represents a modern working trend where individuals maintain their regular work routine while embarking on long-term travel. The introduction of this visa is expected to stimulate economic activity as high-income foreign nationals explore various regions of Korea, providing a global promotion opportunity. Visa application can be submitted at Korean embassies, and those currently on short-term stay in Korea can change their visas if they meet the specified requirement. And that will be a wrap on News Hour. Thank you for staying tuned. I am Grace Komolafe. Many thanks for watching. Good afternoon.